number 1. Chase, read number 1 for us, please. Okay, so this is just pretty basic question, but it's different than what we've been seeing. So I'm just trying to give you different experience with different types of questions. What does it mean when there's 2 X's at the 4? 2 people read what? Read 4 books, okay? So when I look at my answer choices, I don't need just 1 4, I need how many 4s? 2 4s, okay? So I can mark out A and I can mark out B. I gotta have 2 4s. Madison, how many 5s do I have to have? 3, which those both have. Faith, how many 6s do I need? None. So Faith, what answer choice is it? C, okay? Any questions on that one? All right. Number 2, you got a dot plot. We did this one the other day, so it's just a review. Riley K, read the question for us. Good. Elijah, what should I circle? LeVar, what does median mean? The middle. Samaria, how do I find the middle? I mark them out. Don't say the answers out loud, please. All right, you're left with 2 depending on how you do it, but they're definitely guaranteed to be at the 17, so the median age is C. Anybody have a question on that one? All right, number 3, fill these in on your paper. This bar is 5. This bar is 56, 70, so write these on your paper, 81. You're writing them above the bars. Don't write them below, above. 22, 13, and 3. All right, everybody look up here real quick. Eyes, eyes, eyes. I need eyes up here real quick. Jack, Stephen, up here, please. A lot of times they use this word frequency on the side of a graph. They use this word. You need to know what this means. Frequency means how many, all right? So, for instance, this 5 means there are 5 people. This means there's 56 people, all right? So, frequency tells you how many are in there, okay? The question says, how many people who attended the play were at least 50 years old? Shakir, when it says at least 50, does it mean 50 and more or 50 and less? Very good. 50 and older or 50 and more. Okay, again, I know you can't see it on your paper, but here's the 50 right here. So I need 50 and older. Zach, what do you think I'm going to do with these numbers to figure out who's 50 and older? Add them up. Okay, Chase, add those numbers up. What are you getting? Mm-hmm. $40, $22, $13, $30. Anybody already done it? 78, which is D. Okay. Big thing to remember, especially on the test coming up on the final exam, when it says at least, that means 50 and more. Okay, at least means 50 and older. All right, how do you find a percent? You might know how you find a percent? Do you add, subtract, multiply, or divide to find a percent of something? You divide. Thank you, LeVar. All right, so you always divide. You divide the part you want by the total. All right, you divide the part you're looking at by the total. You need to write this down, please. You divide the part you want by the total. Okay? All right, so here's your example. 78 out of 80 students think Miss Williams is fabulous. What percentage is that? Okay, so I'm trying to find a percent. So Hallie, how would I find the percent? Good. I know 80 goes on the bottom because that's my total. The total has to go on the bottom. The order is very important for percentages. Order matters. Stephen R., what do you get when you divide 78 by 80? It's going to be a decimal. So I'll say 0.98. And Jeremy, how many decimal places do I move it to make it a percent? 2. The way I remember that is a percent has 2 circles, so you always move it 2 places. So 98%. You could also be really exact and make it 97.5%. We don't have to be that technical, okay? Any questions on that? Okay, the table shows the number of students who score within an average score range on the semester's final exam in math. Which statement is true about the distribution? Okay, so if I look at answer choice A, it says 10% of the girls had scores from 81 to 90. Okay? All right, so somebody tell me about girls 81 to 90. What? 10. All right, so girls, I look up here, here's girls. I go over to 81 to 90, and it's 10, okay? But it's not 10%. We haven't calculated the percent yet. To find a percent, you need to divide. I should see pencils moving. So I'm going to divide 10, because that's what I wanted, girls 81 to 90. I'm going to divide 10 by the total. The way you know the total is where it says of. So this is saying of the girls. So I need to find out how many total girls there were. So here's girls. So I'm going to add all these up and get the total. I'm going to add up the girls and get the total. Riley M., what do you get when you add up all the girls? What? 49? 29? Okay. All right, Jack, divide 10 by 29 for us. Okay, and Jack, what would that be as a percent? Or just 34, the point moves, okay? Is A correct? No, it's not 10%. If it would have just said 10 of the girls, that would have been correct, but it had a percent, so we had to calculate that. All right, B says 38% of the boys had scores 81 to 90. Stephen R., tell me about boys with scores from 81 to 90. Very good. So I put a 9. I'm going to do it down here. So boys 81 to 90 is a 9. Samaria, how do I find the percent? What am I going to have to do? I'm going to find the total. Elijah, what do you get when you add up all the boys? $24. So that's what I put on the bottom because that's my total. And Jeremy, what do you get when you divide 9 by 24? .375. And Hallie, what do I have to do with that? Good. So you get 37.5%. Riley K, is that pretty close to 38%? Yep. So B is your answer. Okay. Any questions? All right, number 5. The table below shows the number of tickets sold to each age group for 2 movies. Approximately what % of the ticket sales were senior citizen tickets to movie Z? Okay. All right, so guys, first thing I want you to circle is percent. First thing I want you to circle is percent. Percent means I'm going to have to divide. I'm going to have to divide. First thing I want to talk about is the total. What's going to go on the bottom? Your key to find the total is where it says of. All right? approximately what percent of the ticket sales? Okay? Who did we sell tickets to? Senior citizens, who else? Adults, childs. We went to movie Y and movie Z. So when it says of the ticket sales, what does it mean? Add them all up because all of these people bought tickets. Okay, so I should see calculators going. You're adding all those numbers up. And Zach, tell us what you get. Y'all agree with that? Okay. To find what goes on top, we have to keep reading. We want to know senior citizens who went to movie Z. Madison, who were the senior citizens who went to movie Z? 32. Senior citizens and movie Z, so you do this, and they intersect right there, so 32 goes right there. Okay. All right, Riley K., what are you getting for that one? Point what? Okay. Jack, what do I have to do with point 109? Good. So it becomes 10.9. So Jack, which answer choice? Yep. Rounds to 11. Okay. Any questions on that one? All right. Brittany asked 50 of her classmates if they prefer to vacation in the mountains or at the beach. The results of the survey are shown below. What is the approximate difference in percentage of the males who preferred the mountains to the percentage of females who preferred the mountains? Shakira, what's something I should circle? Percentage? That means I'm going to have to what? Divide. Okay, percentage means I'm going to have to divide. Riley M., what else do I see that I should circle? Difference. That means to do what? When it says difference, you're going to subtract at the end. You're going to subtract at the end. You're going to find the two things you want and then find the difference at the end. So we're not going to do that yet, okay? So let's first find the percentage of the males who preferred the mountains. So the percent of males who preferred the mountains. So we're going to do that first, okay? And then we're going to find the percent of the females who prefer the mountains. So percent of females who preferred the mountains. So we got to do two separate things, okay? All right. Everybody look up here for just a minute, please. Look up here. Look, 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 look. When it says of the males, that's the number that goes on the bottom. Whatever it says after the of, okay? The total males. So Faith, what's the total males? Which two numbers did you add? 12 and 17? I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. Not correctly. Thank you. 29. So that is my total. Where it said of the males. That's what goes on the bottom. Chase, to figure out what goes on top, I need males who what? So what number is that? 17. Okay. LeVar, what does that give you? .34, which is 34%. Okay. All right. The next one, Riley M. It says of the females, so that goes on the bottom. So what number goes on the bottom, Riley M? What'd you say? 21. You got to add up the females, total females. LeVar, what number is going to go on the top? So for this one, we want females who preferred the mountains. So what number of females prefer the mountains? Females. Right here? 58.586. All right, so 58.6%. Okay. Elijah, what do you get when you divide 5 by 21? What?
200.238.
All right, just 2 decimal places. Point what? 0.23? Okay, do y'all agree with that? All right, so 23%. Okay. All right, Faith, what do I have to do last with 58.6 and 23? And Faith, what do you get? Uh-huh. All right. Relative frequency table tells you the percentage of time in which each category occurs. I think y'all have a blank, or is it all filled in? Okay, so here's what you need to know. Relative frequency, when you see those 2 words, when you see relative frequency, it's already a percent. It's already a percent. When it's relative frequency, it's already a percent. So here's an example of that. Number 7, it says the distribution of 1,200 students at a high school is shown in a relative frequency table below. Circle those 2 words. Circle those 2 words. You'll notice all the numbers are in what form? Decimal. So they're kind of a percent, like they've already been divided. They just haven't moved the decimal yet. So 0.13 is actually what? 13%. What is 0.15? 15%. What is 0.16? 16%. Okay. The first thing I want you to do on a relative frequency table is I want you to multiply each one of these numbers by 1,200. I want you to multiply each one of those by the total and write it in here. So let's get it out of the percent form so it'll make a little bit more sense. All right, so Madison, what do you get when you multiply 0.13 by 1,200? 156. Jeremy, what do you get when you multiply 0.08 by 1,200? Y'all should be doing this on your own. Multiply, because it's already in a percent. All right, so 96. Faith, what do you get when you multiply 0.11? 132. Shakira, what about 0.15? Stephen R., what do you get when you multiply 0.16 by 1,200? Uh-huh, 1200. Zach, 0.12 by 1,200? 144. Jack, that would be 144 too. Jack, what about 0.13 by 1,200? All right, do y'all agree with all those numbers? Okay, so I know these were already in percentage form, but they didn't give us what the question's actually asking. When it says what percent of juniors, so percent means I'm going to have to divide. What number is going to go on the bottom? Well, like what word? Like what? Who am I looking at to put on the bottom? No, who am I looking at to put on the bottom? What does it say after the of? Juniors. So juniors has to go on the bottom. So we need to add up all the juniors. So which 2 numbers are juniors? All right, so we have to add those 2 up. What is it? All right, now we're going to put juniors who were female on the top. So who's juniors who are female? 144. Juniors who are female. Hallie, what do you get for that one? Say it again. All right, so yep, it rounds up to 43%. Okay. All right, number 8, a college survey, 3,500 students determined the students preferred music, movies, or sports. The results of the survey are shown in the relative frequency table below. How many more seniors than juniors were included in the survey? Chase, what should I circle? Before you even answer the question, Samaria, what do I want you to do with each one of these numbers? Multiply it by 3,500. Now, you can kind of take a shortcut. You can read the question. What is the question asking about? Juniors and seniors. So if you won't, you could mark out freshman and sophomore since the question's not even asking about them and save you some time. But you do need to multiply the junior numbers and the senior numbers by 3,500. All right, Elijah, what do you get when you multiply the 0.10? 350. So, Mary, what do you get when you multiply the 0.06? Jack, what do you get when you multiply the 0.08? All right, so that's the same as this one. And Shakir, what do you get when you multiply the 0.09? Three what? Okay. All right, so the question says how many more seniors than juniors were included in the survey? Jeremy, how do I figure out how many seniors were in the survey? How do I figure out how many seniors were in the survey? So this means 280 seniors liked music, 315 seniors liked movies, and 350 seniors liked sports. So how do I figure out how many seniors were in the whole survey? Good. I add these three numbers up. Has anyone done that yet? Yeah, what do you got for seniors? Say it again. Okay. Will someone say it clearly, please? Thank you. Okay. Now it asks about juniors. LeVar, how do I figure out how many juniors were in the survey? Good. What did you get for juniors? $940? 840. Okay, Madison, how do I figure out how many more seniors than juniors? Subtract, and that gives you what? 105? Yes? Okay. Any questions on that one? All right, number 9, the West Oaks Music Club has 200 members this year. Only freshmen and sophomores are allowed to be members to help them get involved in the school while they're still young. When this group was surveyed about their preference between rap and hip-hop and rock, the results are shown in the relative frequency table below. Which statement is true? Riley M., what word should I circle? Good. So that means these are all in what already? Percent. Thank you. If you notice, the answer choices talk about sophomores, they talk about freshmen, they talk about rock, they talk about hip hop. So I'm going to have to do the whole table. I'll have to do the whole table. Zach, what am I going to have to do to the whole table? Good. Multiply it by 200. Riley K., what do you get when you multiply this one? Stephen R., what do you get when you multiply 0.10 by 200? Faith, what about 0.46? Chase, what about 0.42? Hallie, what about 0.12? Madison, what about 0.54? Elijah, 0.78. All right, and anybody, 0.22. 44. Okay, so we're going to read answer choice A. 60 more sophomore students preferred rap and hip hop than they preferred rock. Okay? Shakira, how many sophomore students preferred rap and hip hop? How many sophomore students preferred rap and hip hop? Good, 84. Okay? That's not answering the question, though. I also have to compare that to sophomores who preferred rock. How many, Hallie, how many sophomores preferred rock? Good. Sophomores and rock is 24. Okay, what do I get when I subtract these? Okay, so is it true? Do 60 more sophomore students prefer rap and hip hop? Is that true? So the answer is A. All right, there's your OYO.